British Prime Minister Liz Truss faced a heated session of Prime Minister's questions at the House of Commons just a short time ago. It's what many have billed as a make-or-break moment for the leader, who already faces a raft of calls within her own Conservative Party to resign. Now, this just over a month into her embattled premiership. The leader's fight for political survival follows a series of disastrous U-turns on a controversial mini-budget, which saw the nation's previous finance minister sacked. For more, we are joined now by Ollie Barrett. He's in London. Ollie, a combative session of Parliament by all accounts. Were there any major outcomes, though, for Liz Truss?
There were, and one in particular that is attracting attention, Dawn, is that Liz Truss committed during this PMQ's session to the so-called triple lock on pensions. Now, what that means is that pensions will be guaranteed, she says, to go up at least in line with inflation. And the reason that that is a significant detail that's come out of PMQs is that up to now, the new finance minister, the new chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, had not been able to commit to whether that triple lock was going to remain in place. It is hugely politically important here in the UK. And so the fact that Liz Truss has come out saying that there will be the triple lock for pensioners up and down the country is leading to all sorts of speculation about whether she has just overruled her chancellor, whether she let him know that she was going to be outlining that position in the House of Commons. Is she trying, for example, to assert a bit of authority over a finance minister that many people were starting to describe as being the de facto prime minister, given the weakening around Liz Truss's authority? So that is one crucial element to the session. The other, I think, is that we saw Liz Truss trying to look like she has more authority and look like she was responding directly to questions, because in recent interviews and in recent PMQ sessions, she's been accused at times of just avoiding the questions that have been directed to her. She also apologised for what she called the mistakes that she has made in the outlining of the previous Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng's mini-budget. So she was trying to at once show contrition and apologise for some of the mistakes she acknowledges her government has made in the short time that it's been in power. But she's also trying to use this PMQs to try and assert her authority. Whether she's also outlined or at least given a hint to a potential division with her chancellor, with her finance minister, the new one, that is Jeremy Hunt, very much remains to be seen. And that's going to be a huge political focus here in the UK in the coming hours.
Ollie, despite all her efforts to reassure and all her efforts at contrition, the calls for her to resign, they're growing louder. Her ratings are just continuing to plummet. How likely is it, though, that she's going to throw in the towel?
I think it is very likely that at some point Liz Truss either throws in the towel or is effectively defenestrated by her own MPs, removed from her position in some way. The question we don't have an answer to yet is exactly how imminent that might be. And the reason for that lack of clarity on the timing of all of this is that there are various different plots underway in the Conservative Party about exactly how you might remove the Prime Minister, exactly how you might encourage her into a resignation, but crucially also what would come next, who would be lined up to take over as the next leader. Many Conservative MPs want all this to happen without there being a long-winded new leadership contest that goes out to the wider Conservative Party membership up and down the country. They don't think that that is something that the party can go through again at such a time of economic crisis. And so there are all sorts of different conversations underway behind the scenes to try and work out how some kind of timeline could be put in place to change the leader without it being a huge distraction, without it taking a hugely long time. But there's a large amount of division within the Conservative Party at the moment, as we saw in the last leadership campaign. So working out all of those details is proving incredibly difficult for Conservative MPs. And that's why for now, at least, and I think we're talking hours and days at the moment rather than anything more long term than that, for now, at least, Liz Truss is probably safe in her position, but we're not looking very much into the future. She is certainly a leader whose authority, whose leadership is absolutely still under threat.
The intrigue continues, Ollie. Ollie Barrett there in London.